Recently, an anti-flat earther by the name of Mr. Sensible launched his very own balloon satellite in an effort to try and prove that the Earth was a globe.
We sent up a payload with a non-distorting camera and took that imagery, and it looks like it's curved. Those are facts. If you can dispute them, you're welcome to.
Needless to say, he feels like pretty hot stuff right now, and has contacted me personally wanting to hear what I think of it all. My first question for him is why the term MAGE? I understand it is an acronym for Mission Above Globe Earth, but it still sounds like his making it say MAGE is not coincidental. When I think of mages, I think of wizards, magicians, and magic tricks. The dictionary definition of mage is a magician, after all. So I've got to wonder, is this all his idea of a magic trick? Let's review the footage.
Logic and cheese.
Hi, I'm Mr. Sensible, and I recently did a high-altitude balloon launch, reaching a height of 38,736 metres. This video is the full and uncut film from the main camera, from launch up to burst point, down to landing and through to recovery. And I want to make clear, there are no cuts in this. Please check out the links in the description below, or have a look at my playlist to see my other videos in the MAGE series, including MAGE Final Results, which detail the experiment and how it turned out. This also shows the footage of the balloon burst. It's absolutely stunning, and I replay it in slow motion. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. It's much appreciated. I'll show details now of the specs of the MAGE probe, and then we'll get straight onto the launch. Thank you. Enjoy.
Alright, so here we can see that the non-distorting lens he was referring to before was this narrow angle lens.
Go MAGE!
I will say this, he has my respect for actually getting out and testing things for himself. This is what I like to see. Too many people these days found their beliefs on hearsay and whatever unnamed scientists say, rather than scientifically founding their beliefs in observation and experimentation. Okay, so here's what we are looking at. We have the main camera with the narrow angle lens, which is our big picture. We have the balloon camera in the top left, and then next to that we have the wide angle camera, allowing us something to compare our footage with. On the right here, we have an altitude meter, showing us how high the balloon is. And across the center, we have two horizontal lines. As I understand, the lines are there to show us the sweet spot on the camera lens where the least amount of barrel distortion takes place. So if I'm not mistaken, these horizontal lines serve as acknowledgement that what he was saying about using a non-distorted lens wasn't entirely true. It is still distorted due to barrel distortion, but it's not as distorted as the wide-angle lens. Herein, in barrel distortion, you'll notice that these lines across the center get distorted the least, which is what the bars across his main camera are for. With that understanding, we'll keep our observations within those two bars. Okay, so let's examine this shot with the horizon in the sweet spot taken from 3,300 meters. Here I have taken a straight line across the horizon and it looks pretty flat. Let's take another shot from a higher altitude and see if that changes. Ooh, just a little over 11,000 meters now. Let's put a straight line across that. Alright, so as I drag the line across the horizon, I see that the atmospheric gradient is so strong it is difficult to see where I should put the other end of the line. Let's adjust the brightness and contrast of this picture to see if that can't sharpen the image and make things easier. I don't even have to draw a straight line across this. I fully acknowledge that I can see some curvature. Now my question is this the curvature of the Earth that we are looking at? Well, what I'm going to look for now is if this is the curvature of the Earth that we are looking at, I expect it to have about the same amount of curvature all the way across. If the right side curves faster than the left side, that is where we're going to bump into some problems. Let's do MC Toon's scrunched horizon trick to check out the curvature of this. All right, here I'm going to go ahead and select all of that, and then we're going to scrunch it really quick. Select and scrunch. Yeah, that right side definitely doesn't have the same amount of curvature as the left side does. And another interesting thing to observe is the center of our curve isn't the center of our photo. I wonder why that is. Let's try this again at just over 15,000 meters. Okay, let's adjust that brightness and contrast. And we'll check to see if our line is where it's supposed to be. Okay, I do see some curvature there. Let's go ahead and scrunch that and do our scrunched horizon trick. Look for the same thing. Scrunch. Huh. Well, that's interesting. We don't see the same amount of curvature as we did in the last picture. That right side looks a lot flatter than it used to. What's going on here? All right, let's go even higher. 25,000 meters. Will it get flatter or will it get more curved? All right, brightness and contrast. Check in our line to make sure it's accurate. All right, let's do the scrunched horizon part. Scrunch. I think it's interesting how Mr. Sensible is 100% convinced that this proves the Earth is a globe. Here, let's put a line across that just because. Now I think it's interesting how even though the balloon went higher, the line got straighter. Now let's try this again with the highest altitude of just over 37,000 meters and see what we get. Okay, we'll go adjust that brightness and contrast. And we got a blip there. Looks like it's coming from the lens flare. All right, let's do the scrunched horizon part. Scrunch. Zoom in on that. Now I do see some curvature, but the question is that the curvature of the Earth that we are looking at? Since we see uneven amounts of curvature in each photo, and varying amounts of it, I conclude that it is not the curvature of the Earth that we are looking at. Perhaps that is Mr. Sensible's magic trick. I don't know. But I've got to thank him for asking me to review the footage. It has been fun. Thank you all for watching. It has been a pleasure.